Good morning, everyone, and Chodesh Tov. Today is Rosh Chodesh of the month of Av. Now, today also begins the 9 days, the saddest days on the Jewish calendar, leading up to Tisha B'Av, the day we mourn the destruction of the temple. And there are many restrictions during these 9 days. We're not allowed to eat meat. We're not allowed to drink wine, with the exception of Shabbat. We're not allowed to have experiences that are pleasurable, like swimming or other entertainment of music and so on. But today, Rosh Chodesh Av, is also the yahrzeit, the passing day of Aaron, the high priest, the brother of Moses. And fascinatingly, there is no other yahrzeits, dates of passing, mentioned in the Torah. The Torah doesn't tell us when Abraham died, or Isaac, or Sarah, or Rebecca, or even Moses' death date. The only biblical figure is Aaron, the high priest. When did he die? The Torah says today, Rosh Chodesh Av. And more amazingly is that the Torah doesn't tell us the date he died, when he actually died in the Torah portion of Chukat. But the Torah waits till this past Shabbat, in the Torah reading of Matot Maaseh, to tell us in passing that he died in the desert on the first day of Av. And the rabbis ask, why is he the only one who were told his death, and why this week versus when he actually died? And our rabbis say because the Torah tells it to us this past Shabbat, because this past Shabbat is the Shabbat before Rosh Chodesh Av. And the Torah is telling it to us to remind us that the reason the temple was destroyed was because of baseless hatred amongst the Jewish nation. However, the way it will be rebuilt is by following the example of Aaron the high priest. What was Aaron known for? He was a lover of peace. Ohev shalom v'rodev shalom. He loved peace, he pursued peace, and brought people closer to one another. And therefore, our rabbis say that the righteous, even during their death, they're alive. Because when we emulate them, we give them life, and we bring their virtues to life. And when we live in the footsteps of Aaron the high priest by loving each other unconditionally, we will merit the rebuilding of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. This year, the days known as Bein HaMitzarim, between the straits, the difficult days, didn't begin on the 17th of Tammuz. It began on October 7th. There are still over 100 hostages who are literally between the straits in the tunnels of Gaza. But all of the Jewish people are between the straits. And especially now, with all the armies around Israel, Iran and Hezbollah, and everyone looking, God forbid, to attack Israel, especially these days, we literally are between the straits. And therefore, these are the days more than ever before to increase in our love for one another. And the truth is that there's never been so much love amongst the Jewish people than there has been this year. So much unconditional love and selflessness and sacrifice and dedication to one another. And God surely will look down and say it's a time for the redemption to come, because the Jewish people have shown so much love to one another. Yesterday here in California, there was this couple that came to speak in the synagogue that I'm praying at. The mother's name is Orit, the father is Abraham. And they told her story, the tragic story of their daughter, Adi Baruch. Their last name is Baruch. Adi was 23 years old. On October 7th, her father, Avram, was called up as a reservist, and she wasn't called up. And she said, Abba, how could it be? You're much older than I. If anyone should be a reservist, it's me. I'm only 23. I'm only out of the army for 2 years. And so she called her commander and said, I want to go serve. And she was sent down south. And on October 12th, just a week later, a shrapnel from a rocket in Sderot hit her in the head, and she was tragically killed. And the parents talk about her love for the Jewish people, her sacrifice, her volunteering to go serve. And this beautiful young girl lost her life at a young age of 23 years old. And they talk about the pain, but the comfort. And this month is called Av, Father, but we add the word Menachemav, the comfort of our Father, because we want our Father in heaven's comfort during this month. And they found a song she wrote on her computer late at night, months later after she died, that they never knew she even wrote and composed. And the words of the song go like this. If I die before my time, she wrote, I want you to celebrate life, not to mourn my death. I want you to wake up every morning with a smile on your face and longing in your heart. And don't let a single second of your life go to waste. See the world for me. Appreciate every little moment. And every once in a while, smile at the clouds. I'll be there. I'm sorry for the grief I caused. Know that I'm in a good place. I miss you, and I love you very much. These are the words of a 23-year-old girl. This is the love and the selfless sacrifice of the Jewish nation. This is the love we all have to have during these 9 days for one another, for the Jewish people, for the land of Israel, for God, and for all of humanity, which is an extension of that love. But the most fascinating story they told was that Adi had a boyfriend, a high school sweetheart. They met each other in high school and they were soulmates. And her boyfriend had gone out just weeks before October 7th and brought a ring to propose to her. And he was waiting for the right moment. And they said that when he heard the tragic news that the love of his life was killed at the age of 23, he was beyond grief. He was completely beside himself. And when they came to the funeral, after all the mourners left, after her casket was lowered to the ground and they covered it with earth and everyone left, her boyfriend went over to the grave, got down on his knee, opened up a little white box, and proposed to Adi in her grave. And he spoke about his love for her, and he said how in high school you stole my heart, and I never envisioned my life with anyone else besides you. You are my soulmate. And right then and there he proposed to her and asked if she would marry him. And afterwards they asked him, they said, we understand the grief and the pain, but what does that mean to propose to her after she died? And he said, my whole life, since I met Adi, I dreamed about this moment, that I would get down on my knee and propose to my soulmate, to my sweetheart, my high school sweetheart. And he said, I had to say those words. I've been preparing these words for so many years, what I would say. I had to hear myself say those words to her. I did it to let her know, to let her soul know how much I love her. This story touched me so deeply, and it told me that we should never wait to say the words we want to say to one another. We never know how much time we have to express our love. Every day, every moment, as Adi said, live fully, love each other, express that love, show that love and affection. And surely God will comfort us during this month. And as we follow the footsteps of Aaron the high priest, these days will be transformed into joyous days. May it be a good Chodesh, a month of joy, not sadness. And may our grief and pain turn into joy and redemption. Have a wonderful Chodesh.